I'm Malik Hajj, a prophet of the seven thunders, and a priest of the Abrahamic covenant. Priest too. This is Up Late Update with Malik Hajj, where we take current events and give the understanding of them through the unsealed scriptures, the perspective of the unsealed scriptures, and give you the understanding of what's taking place in today's world right now from the unsealed scriptures. So, excuse, excuse me. So, I'm gonna do this. It's been a few days. Being off. I'm gonna do this a little different, but pretty much the same, but just a little different. Um, let's begin. I want to speak on like a few. There's a few topics. So we're instead of just giving the news reports, we're gonna give news reports. uh, a lot of the reports are going to pertain to a particular idea, so what so. So it may be one, two different reports on a particular subject matter so that the audience can get an understanding of what's taking place, how to weigh the truth. So, on now, let's speak for a second. I'm gonna begin with this. Excuse me. This throat has been getting me. I read Rossi says sanctions must be lifted to reach nuclear deal. Now, get a shot of water here. Mm. Drink a gallon of water a day. Right now, my throat, I need a little tea or something. Okay. Now, the thing is, now you say, we're going to speak about the nuclear, the JCPOA. America responded on the JCPOA over a week ago. Excuse me. Responded to false Israel that the JCPOA was off the table and to prepare for Plan B. And at the same time, said that they wanted to still handle the matter of the JCPOA diplomatically. So, false Israel and European nations are weighing in and still giving their take on the discussion. So, the thing they're saying is the joint comprehensive plan of action, is it on or is it off? Now, it's a situation that has come in with Congress being out for the midterms. You know, everyone's preparing for the midterm elections. So they got to go out and, do they um, campaigning. So they're not going to be able to speak because the campaign, the midterm, is superseding the JCPOA. And, they say that Iran is still um, manufacturing uranium to a higher levels of 60%. And if they chose, by that time of November, which is the 8th when they come back, that if they wanted to, they can have at least 3 nuclear um, bombs. So the thing is it? Now, we're going to finish reading this, and then we also going to go into, looking at, let's read this and we'll see how it flows. Iran's Raisi said sanctions must be lifted to reach nuclear deal. President Ibrahim Raisi says guarantees must be established to ensure the lasting removal of sanctions on Iran. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has said United States sanctions must be lifted to reach a nuclear agreement, and there must be guarantees established to ensure their lasting removal. Speaking exclusively at Al Jazeera, Rasul Zadar in um, um, Azaz, Azaz, as, hold up. Uzbekistan. The Iranian president also said that it was not yet time to have face-to-face talks with the United States, and he questioned the sincerity of Washington in wanting to reach a deal with Tehran. Removal of sanctions should be accompanied with the resolution of safeguard. There are some political and baseless accusations against Islamic Republic of Iran when it comes to safeguard issues. Raisi told Al Jazeera in the city of Samarkand, where he attended the Shaji Corporation Organization meeting on Thursday. So we should finalize this safeguard issue, he said, regarding the guarantees. If we have the trustworthy guarantees and we have the lasting removal of sanctions, not temporary removal of sanctions, and if there is a lasting solution for the safeguard is issues, for sure it is possible to reach agreement, the president said. Months of indirect talk between Iran and U.S. President Joe Biden administration to revive the 2015 nuclear deal have hit a dead end. Former U.S. President Donald Trump withdrew from the 2015 deal under which Tehran had agreed to scale back to uranium enrichment program and promised not to pursue nuclear weapons in return for the lifting of crippling sanctions, which also allowed Iran to seal its oil and gas worldwide. Excuse me, to sell. The 2015 deal was signed in Vienna by the U.S., UK, France, Germany, Russia, China, the European Union, and Iran. The IAEA had repeatedly confirmed at the time that Tehran was meeting its nuclear commitments fully under the terms of the 2015 agreement. American sincerity. Al Jazeera Sardar said the Iranian president did not see any benefit in face-to-face meeting with U.S. officials yet. He said that Iran had tried that before, has done that before, and it did not work out. Sender said he also requested American security, the security of the American approach to the issue. He said that if Americans want to finalize a deal, why do they impose new sanctions on Iran in the middle of the negotiation? The U.S. recently imposed new sanctions on Iran companies for helping transfer Iranian drones to Russia for use in Ukraine, as well as for an Iranian ministry accused of being involved in a cyber attack on Albania, and allegations that Iran has called baseless. The IAEA said on September that it was not in the position to provide assurance that Iran's nuclear program is exclusively peaceful. Tehran has long maintained that its nuclear program is focused on nuclear energy and out, not weapons. Iran's economy and people have been hit hard by decades of international sanctions. The United Nations rapporteur published a report this week that details the effects of decades of embargoes on Iran and called for their removal. The report's author, Alina Duhan, said that the sanctions had affected nearly every aspect of life to Iran. The provision of medicines and medical equipment to Iran was severely undermined by sanctions on finance, trade, shipping, insurance, and over compliance of the part of foreign business and supplies, Durham said. This constitutes serious impediments to the enjoyment of the right to the highest attainable standard of health by all Iranians, she said. Sanctions have been imposed on Iran since 1979 when the country's Islamic Revolution took place. So, let's just go through there. Now, as you heard there's new sanctions. America has put new sanctions on Iran for selling their drones to Russia to help assist them in the war against Ukraine. Now, this is why, we go on a different route, because it makes sense to, we can get and talk about the weather and this, that. We're going to move around somewhat. However, to get a thorough understanding, this is the like the new platform I want to go with. New sanctions on Iran for assisting Russia, who was their ally in protecting Russian interests and to assisting them in the war in the Ukraine. Now, listen, this is the type of, and this is what we're dealing with. The reason why I want to speak like this. The type of um, beast, or the type of country that we're dealing with in America, and really with the Gog, Magog, and the European nations, um, NATO. How can you this? How or what makes you think, who should even consider to deal with anybody that thinks this haphazard, as if their shit don't stink? That they can do whatever they want to do, and as you heard there, they've been sanctioning Iran since 1979, since they put the Shah in, or the Shah was taken out. So you have this, you're you're basically at war with, it's nothing else to be said. You're at war with Iran. You're crippling their economy. You're making life hard for Iranians. And you do these things because you want to dominate and take things from that region, and to keep them from growing in that region. Now, the U.S. has, let's look at this. What's the dollar amount that the U.S. has spent in the war? Excuse me. How much money has the U.S. spent in the Ukraine war? Okay. So it says, now, I mean, it's so many reports. I didn't think this many was gonna come out. Now look, 4 ways to understand the 54 billion in U.S. spending on Ukraine. The 54 billion. At one time, it said, and then this is a new one for August 24th. The 54 billion was okay. They're around the same time. And then it said U.S. announces largest ever 38. What is that? No, that says 3 billion Ukraine aid. 3 billion Ukraine aid and war as war hits 6 months more. So that's on aid and aid package and aid. Then it say 3 billion in aid to Ukraine as war hits 6 months again. But the total monetary aid to Ukraine is now around 50 billion. War in Ukraine and data. So we talking about approximately, we gonna say with all things 60, at least $60 billion America has pushed into Ukraine to fight Russia. To keep this war with Russia going. That's not even including the other European countries or nations that has also put $1 billion or so into assisting in the war. So you have America basically funding, sending militias over, paid, hired militias, Americans, and they are assisting. The UK ain't a NATO country, so they're assisting NATO with billions of dollars. Ukraine with billions of dollars, and then have the nerve to turn around and tell somebody they can't help Russia, and they'll put sanctions on them for assisting their allies. But after you done spent at least 60 billion in backing the Ukraine. So I don't know what measure of thought that America is using. But there's when you think like this and you think your shit don't stink and you think you can just do anything you want to do, basically like there's no consequence, or they can do what they want to do, and then they can put sanctions. They're sanctioning putting these sanctions on countries, nations, and tell them they can't buy and they can't sell. But that's if you really paying attention, then you know what the scriptures say. Who is this beast? Who is this nation that tell you you um, can't buy or sell? The mark of the beast. That's the mark of the beast. Cause if you don't have if you can't buy or sell. This nation to tell you who can buy and who can sell, who can do this and who can't do that. But they can do it whatever they want to do, the way they want to do it. And you know, they feel like they're not gonna get any repercussion. Like, and then try to act like that they promote righteousness or they're promoting peace. And then have the nerve to say what somebody's doing to their people when America is, having the black man and woman up under his foot for 400 years. But the thing that stands out on this is like, how can you tell somebody they can't? This is a war. You're hampering their people. Then these other nations that listen. So if you do something, if you help them, then we're not gonna. You can't come get this from us, or you can't come get this. What would make nations even want to deal with a clown, a beast like this? And like somebody's supposed to, like you said. Now, why would they believe or see any seriousness in America when they're still putting more sanctions on them, trying to keep them from even further being successful or being able to take care of their business, which is their business, which is providing a product that they make to someone else. Like America's selling arms all around the world, and try to tell somebody that they can't sell, they can't give, they can't sell, and just giving 60 billion, giving plenty materials, weapons, rockets, sending all these things to Ukraine, and then sit back and tell somebody they can't do what they doing. It doesn't make any sense. And America thinks that it's going to get away with running around here thinking it's the big bully, thinking that consequence that haven't even noticed, act like it ain't. It doesn't know what time it is, that it's in this time of judgment. But it's just big bad America, and they're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna stop people from being able to eat. See, all these things you talking about, what consequence? All these type of thoughts and actions that they have put on people, all these things is gonna come back on them. All of these actions and thoughts, America is gonna, everything that they're dishing out is coming back on them tenfold. So that on that, uh, it we had to go. We had to. Is the JCPOA over? No, but America already done said it is, and it's set back, and it's this, and it's that, and well, they can't go into it till after midterms. How important is it? It ain't important enough to lose a race, I tell you that, because it'll affect the whole thing. So why would you make any strides in it? And that's what's really taking place, or trying to make an agreement when you don't even know who's going to be running the House or the Senate, which you don't even know. They don't know that, because that's what's about to. They have a, it's a chance that the Republicans will take both of them, the House and the Senate, and you know what that would mean for a nuclear deal. It changes the whole dynamic. So, with that, why, they America can't give any security or anything in this deal to make Iran even feel secure on any part of the deal. So, which that's, on looking, we can pretty much see what's really being said. And just like Iran is saying, we don't think y'all serious. We don't see it. You haven't given us any reason or anything to see that's saying that America is serious. But you have to look for the ambush at the same time, because you did hear previously that America said that they're not holding false Israel's hands, and get prepared for Plan B, which is war. So the JCPO, is it alive? Is it dead? Is it coming to a theater near you? What is it? You don't know, because we're dealing with this authoritarian. Um, uh, we're dealing with the real terrorist department. So they're gonna instill terrorists on. They still, America is the biggest terrorist out there, terrorizing nations, stealing from nations, thieves, thieves. Then go tell Iran, not only are we sanctioning you, if anything we see coming out or being moved, we're gonna just take it. We're gonna confiscate it. When you, this what type of, that's serious. That's what type of monster that we dealing with. This country is a monster. And you talking about some evil, a dictator, and a terrorist. That's the acts of a terrorist. And then want to call somebody a terrorist for trying to take care of their family, trying self preservation. You can't do that. You're a terrorist. America is the biggest terrorist out here. So, we're gonna move to our next. I'm gonna move, because this Iranian thing it's big. It really is, because it's directly a part of the unsaid scriptures that is going. It's the initiation to the to the war in the Middle East. So we're going to go to our next topic. All right. All right. Now, oh my goodness. You know, I do like that. Putin tells Europe, I really wanted to go into this one. Putin threatens to walk away from Ukraine grain deal. But Vladimir Putin tells Europe, if you want gas, then open Nord Stream 2. Samarkand Uzbekistan, President Vladimir Putin on Friday denied Russia had anything to do with Europe's energy crisis, saying that if the European Union wanted more gas, it should lift sanctions preventing the opening of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Speaking to reporters after the Shanghai Corporation Organization Summit in Uzbekistan, Putin blamed what he calls the green agenda for the energy crisis and insisted that Russia would fulfill its energy obligations. The bottom line is, if you have an urge, if it's so hard for you, just lift the sanctions on Nord Stream 2, which is 5 billion cubic meters of gas per year. Just push the button and everything will get going, Putin said. Nord Stream 2, which lays on the bed of the Baltic Sea almost in parallel to Nord Stream 1, was built a year ago, but Germany decided not to proceed with it just days before Russia sent its troops to Ukraine on February the 24th. European gas prices more than doubled from the start of the year, and a decline in Russian supplies. This year's price surge has squeezed springing already consumers and forced some industries to halt production. Europe has accused Russia of weaponizing energy applies in resolution for Western sanctions imposed on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. Russia said the West has launched an economy war against sanctions have hampered Nord Stream 1 pipeline operations. Russia has cut off gas supplies to several countries, including Bulgaria and Poland, because they refuse to pay in rupees rather than the current currency of their contract. Russia gas plant. Okay, that's fine. So, you put sanctions on people. You're crippling their economy. See, this is the type of mess that America is doing. And then they feeding, this country billions of dollars to keep a war going. So much so that they won't say nothing about Zelensky soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers bombing. They're bombing their own nuclear power plant. Russians are at the power plant. So why would you bomb something that you're stationed at or you're there, right? Where if it cracked, do anything, you're gonna be affected by it and be killed by it. Well, why would you bomb it? It doesn't make sense. Just like that, you can sit there and it just doesn't make sense. You're like, what? Now, what sense does that make? None. However, they put these sanctions on and then tell them you weaponizing energy. What the hell is American weapon? Everything they doing, their weapon. You weaponizing sanctions. Every sanction is used like a weapon, but we put sanctions on you. You can't do this, you can't do this, but you weaponizing what you have. You right. You damn right it's being weaponized, because you weaponize everything that you're doing is weapon. You got sanctions, you're trying to keep you attack, you're trying to put their economy out of business. Everything that America is doing, everything that NATO is trying to push in the Ukraine war against Russia. They got to have their own agenda. They really do. Because it doesn't make sense of what they're trying to say. They want to They're weaponizing anything and anytime somebody does something that makes sense for them and their people, their country, then America's jumping around talking about you can't do this. We can't. You ain't gonna let you. So that's just showing you that um, there's no way that this uh, this beast can be around too much longer. We have to get rid of it because you're not going to be able. There's no. Well, it would have never been anything, any freedom, any nothing. Well, it ain't none now. But I'm just saying, this is a terrorist operation, and I always want to point fingers and talk about what somebody's doing while they're doing the same thing and worse. And worse. We sanction you, but yeah, I cut this out all off. Cut the other one on. Remove the sanctions and cut the other one on. And see, that's what's really gonna bite them because eventually they're gonna have to. They're going to have to. When that cold get to whipping in on them, the unsealed scripture said that they gonna make a decision because the people gonna make it. All this, what America got going on, trying to act like they ain't nothing changed. They got everything in control. They're dominating. Um, um, excuse me. They they're gonna find out that everybody's not going for that. Nobody's just going. You just can't just bulldog everybody. And these European nations, um, that's right with them. Talking about, um, we don't want your oil, we don't want your gas, we want pipeline one, we don't want two, we're not moving the sanctions. Our people gonna just starve. Our people just gonna be cold this winter. We're gonna have to stick together and rub our hands and put our feet all together. We have to have big gatherings throughout the winter in large coliseums of just hand warming and feet warming. Did that make it? That's what I'm saying. Doesn't make any sense. But when this chill hit them, everything gonna turn. Cause the people is gonna rise up against them, and they gonna want some heat. They not gonna want to hear they looking over here at Americans sitting in hot bath, taking hot showers, houses warm. You think that's gonna make them? They're not gonna wanna be over there freezing simply because of the politicians and what they're trying to force. So and trying to and the whole everything that's being done, brothers and sisters, the um what's it called? Well, I can't think of what I was. Everything that's being done to keep Russia destabilized. That's that everything they're doing is a war. That's all war tactics. That's all um pretty much terrorism. And they think that, they really think that that stuff that is gonna fly. But it's that's this JCPOA is gonna affect all this. And that war in the Middle East is gonna affect all of this. There's things that they're doing, America's doing. The world, I mean, it's just a time for change, a time for consequence, a time for its judgment. And America is being judged right now. So we're at this time of abomination of desolation, the shock of the hour. America Michael and his angels are going to go to war with the dragon and his angels. Michael and his angels, Michael being Master Fire Muhammad, his angels, Iran and Syria, they're going to go to war. The war is, the war can happen at any time. And, with everything that's taking place out there with the JCPOA and everything that's being said, you have to look at what they're doing. It's like they're saying two different things at the same time because they really have made their mind up. They really have. But they don't want you to know it. They don't want nobody to know that, yeah, we're working on plan B. We're going to keep acting like, we're going to put this together. Nobody's silly like that. Yeah. They're going to have to come to the point that, yeah, it's cold as hell. Your people are freezing. No, we're not giving you nothing. Well, y'all weaponizing all. Well, what have you weaponized? We don't got no gas. We need to move our car. Like he said, we move the sanctions, and it's just a push of a button, and everything will be on. That's how you got to talk to these idiots. Thinking they going to make you do something and strong arm you and take what you got. They all up in Syria taking all. Taking. So, the abomination of desolation. Master Fard Muhammad, Iran and Syria is going to attack the dragon. The dragon and his angels. The House of Saud, Britain and America is his angels. The House of Saud, Saudi Arabia is the dragon, and his angel is Britain and America and false Israel. And when their attack, when the war begins, it's going to end. The outcome is going to be Master Fard Muhammad and Iran and Syria is going to take out. They're going to take down the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia. They're going to kick out Britain and America from the Middle East, and they're going to siege and destroy false Israel. So they're going to clear all the lies up about false Israel being the nation that received the birthright, and that they have went through 400 years of the Holocaust, or 400 years in a strange land. They have not anything that fits with the Abrahamic covenant. However, This is Abomination of Desolation and Chocolate Hours of JCPO. This is where we're at in time, in today's time, that the event that we're waiting to watch and see. We're looking to see, and we'll know what to do as soon as we see it to get to the next move. Because after this happens, the next thing they're going to do is try to kill us all. So, this is our news report for this evening. We're going to do it again and spice it up a bit, but we're going to stick to these main topics like this. And if you call in, we can speak on it, because we can say, well, it's raining here. It's a lot of, I mean, we're going to get back to that type of, we're going to speak on the weather and everything like we always had been doing. We're going to grab some of these topics and look at what's really happening. What's the information that they're pushing? The propaganda. Shit, things that don't even make sense. Like saying Russia's bombing. How do you write or put out something that says Russia's bombing the Zaka, the Ukrainian nuclear plant? How in the world? Somebody has to be retarded, and that type of, they will write anything to push their agenda, to make you, to try to get people to hate Russia for protecting its interests, protecting its land, protecting itself. And it says, we're at the nuclear plant. We have control over it. We have seized it. We have it. But we're bombing the nuclear plant. And we're the ones in control of it. But we bombing it. And if anything happens, our soldiers, we the ones going to take the blunt of it and going to be killed, or we're the ones that are going to be physically hurt, killed, or whatever, maimed, or whatever that's going to happen. But we the ones sitting there that have it, and we're bombing it. So that's why we have to go over these things and let's talk on them and make sense out of it, so you can. A lot of our brothers and sisters is being duped, lied to, not seeing the truth, the real truth that's taking place, because they're feeding us all this. Everything that they feed you is I just said it. They're feeding us propaganda. All propaganda. It's things that don't even make sense. Because they know no one's telling them the truth. And another thing that we don't have time is right on this segment about the Ukraine energy. We spoke about it a little, but we did say it. Businesses are shutting down. They're going out of business because they don't have energy. They can't afford the energy, and they don't have enough. Soon the schools will be shut down. So how you think you gonna keep talking crazy and keep demanding, keep acting like everything is okay? Like the people ain't gonna find out the truth when they can't pay their bills, when they can't have no heat, when it get cold, and the reason behind what is the reason? Oh, well, they attacked Ukraine. And why do they do it? They never give you the why behind it. They never. Why you think they bombing? Why is Ukraine bombing their own nuclear plant? Lying, talking about Russia's bombing. What kind that you keep hearing these all these lies, these different um, interviews and um, reports on things that don't even make sense. But then they don't tell you and don't say nothing to Ukraine and understand why are you shelling a nuclear plant that you know is a nuclear plant and you acting like Zelensky, their president, acting well. See, Russia is the reason why you selling the damn. You're having that shell because you don't know the clauses. You don't know the reason behind why they're doing it. However, they do. Propaganda is being used. And you have to speak on it like this so you can feel through the dark, and put like it's like feeling through the dark. It's dark and you can't see, but you got to use your hands to feel through. You got to think on what's being shared out here. But they're disguising the truth with lies and lies for the truth. And with that, I'm going to bring this segment to update with Malik Hajj to a close. We'll be back again tomorrow at our 11 o'clock schedule. But this is going to be our new format. We're going to keep it as close. Keep it as close to this as possible. With giving you the understanding of the time from the unsealed perspective of how all these things are working in contrast with working with on behalf of the scriptures and what's taking place in the world, and is having a direct effect from the time that we're in. A direct effect from the unsealed scriptures, the Abrahamic covenant. All these things are tied together. So with that, I'm gonna bring this to a close and thank you for watching. We'll be here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Well, and I'm thinking about moving it up to 10. We'll see. And as I shared, we've been off this week. Still look due for our special reports segment. So, with that, greet you as I came in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.